Hello, my beautiful students. I'm here with my cat, Smokely, and we're going to teach you a little bit about the blues today. Um, so instead of having you watch an entire crash course video, I just want you to think about this. Imagine if an era had a soundtrack, and that soundtrack would be the blues. This is from a quiz earlier this year where we talked about the great migration of African Americans between 1910 and the 1970s. This particular image focused on the time between 1910 and 1920. If an era of history had a soundtrack, then the soundtrack of the Great Migration would be the blues. I've got an entire document here that you can read about the history of the blues, but I'm going to go ahead and just start reading an open letter, essentially, by a blues musician called Muddy Waters. So without further ado, here we go. It's got a right to sing the blues. It's by Muddy Waters, told to Alfred Duckett. When I was a kid growing up in Rolling Fork, Mississippi, there were a lot of things happening around me, making me sad. People talk about Negroes in the South having trouble, but in my lifetime, I've seen a lot of progress made and a lot of Southerners getting to learn to appreciate my people as human beings. I'm not up on a platform preaching. I make my living recording blues, which sell to millions of people all over the country and appearing in nightclubs, which, fortunately for me, are usually jammed with people who want to hear my music. Somebody once asked me what my blues meant. I answered in one word: trouble. I don't know whether they got the message, but what I meant was that the blues, from the gut bucket alley blues, which I can offer right straight up to the sophisticated drawing room limit fashioned by that master musician, Duke Ellington. The blues belong to my people. The blues are an expression of trouble in mind, trouble in body, trouble in soul. And when man has trouble, it helps him to express it, to let it be known. Back in Rolling Fork, Mississippi, I made up my mind when I was pretty young that I was going to live a good life. My name wasn't Muddy Waters then. It was McKinley Morganfield, but my folks called me Muddy, and don't ask me why. After I got into the show business, the public added the Waters. Lots of people think I wrote the tune, "I'd Rather Drink Muddy Water." Sorry to say I can't claim that one. Fact is, I was hearing that tune when I was a youngster. In those boyhood days, I always had an ear for the blues. I loved the blues. I guess I was born with two things: trouble and love for the blues. The music of Big Bill, Lonnie Johnson, Leroy Cobb, and others fascinated me. My daddy played a guitar in his day, but it was a good buddy of mine, Scott Bohanna, who taught me guitar after I'd been fooling around with the harmonica for a few years. My uncle, Joe Grant, gave me a chance to get some real kicks out of the songs I was writing. Alley blues, country blues, what people call gut bucket. People down home appreciated and liked my music. They understood it. But it was a different story when I came to big time Chicago. I found out that my people had left the South, even though they still weren't totally free, wanted to run off in a corner and escape their trouble. They wanted to make believe trouble didn't exist. The way I felt, that's the best way to let trouble beat you. The way to defeat trouble is to look it straight in the eye. That's what I was doing when I sang my blues. The blues didn't move anybody in the big city. They called it sharecropper music. They said I was a square and would never get anywhere trying to sell the public that kind of stuff. They laughed at me when I wailed the blues. I had every reason to believe they had a right to laugh. For quite a while, I didn't get anywhere with my music. I was working, but only because I wanted to work, not because anyone wanted me. People let me appear in their places because I would work for almost nothing. If I had been forced to depend on my income as a musician, I would have starved to death. But I didn't intend to starve, and I didn't intend to give up my determination to play the blues. So I sold Venetian blinds whenever I could get a chance. My big break came when a talent scout for Leonard Chess of Chess Records heard me in a club. He understood, and he believed that what I was doing could be commercial in a big way. He took me to Leonard. To Leonard, my music was a big joke. He didn't believe in my blues. He thought it was a waste of money to invest in my career, but he didn't want to let the talent scout down, and he took an immediate liking to me. My first record for Chess Records was Feel Like Going Home. It went over like mad. Then the talent scout knew he had been right. Leonard knew that he had played a good hunch, even if he hadn't wanted to. And I knew that I had been right to stick to my guns in spite of everything. After that, I had it made. People began to listen to the blues that they had laughed at. They began to realize that these blues expressed their own feelings when they were low or discouraged. It's a funny thing about people in trouble. When a person thinks he's the only one in hot water, he's miserable. But when he gets to realize that others have the same kind of trouble, or even worse, he understands that life isn't just picking on him alone. Somebody once wrote that a whole school of blues has come about in imitation of Muddy Waters. I don't agree that that is in imitation. No one can duplicate the blues I create and play, and neither can I imitate the ones who came after me. What makes me proud is that in making a success for myself in Chicago, I was able to open the doors for other blues artists to come up. Maybe that happened in other parts of the country too. My daddy, Ollie Morganfield, who still lives in Rolling Fork, is proud of my success, but he is more proud that I remember what he once told me. He advised me to forget about the folks who laughed at me, but he warned if I ever got to be big, I should never feel like saying, I told you so. I don't feel like saying that. I feel as though these folks should know now that it doesn't pay to run from trouble. Like Joe Louis, a boxer, said, you can run, but you can't hide. Long as we're Negroes, we got a right to sing the blues. And long as we sing them, we ought to be proud of them. That letter is taken from March 26, 1955. And again, yes, the Great Migration is about this entire era of people migrating from the South. A lot of really good music came from that era as well. That's what you're getting into today. A few other resources that we have available, just to kind of give you an idea of why people left the South to go north. This little handout is about sharecropping. As you saw yesterday in class, African Americans were definitely not totally accepted into society in the 1950s. This is about the record company Chess Records from Chicago that will give you a lot of ideas on the music that you're going to hear today in class. Somebody like Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, Etta James, Bo Diddley, and Chuck Berry. A lot of great music has been inspired by the blues. So that is a resource that's educating you about the record company. Next up, this is a letter that an African American newspaper received in 1917 that will kind of get you an idea and again kind of make the Great Migration a little bit more real to you rather than just something you've heard about in class. This is a bunch of pictures that depict life in the North about what it was like to be Black and live in the northern part of the United States. A couple of excerpts from songs that you're going to hear today, and a lot of the lyrics do mention like leaving home. So this one from Burr Clover Farm Blues. Well, now I'm leaving this morning, and I sure do hate to go. Well, now I'm leaving this morning, and I sure do hate to go. Well, now I've got to leave this Burr Clover farm. I ain't coming back here no more. Smokestack Lightning by Howlin' Wolf. Oh, the train I ride on. Oh, the air can shine like gold. Oh, the train I ride on. Oh, the air can shine like gold. Oh, 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 just like gold. And one of the songs that I'm going to have you listen to today is actually a song not from a blues player, but by a modern rapper. And this is my cue to play that song or any of the other songs in class. With that being said, hey, you're getting exposed to a lot of music this week and next week and probably the week after that. So again, there's your context for today. And as you're listening to it, use the music listening template that I provide to you in class, just so you can have a broader understanding, and more importantly, take it in yourself. The music's out there for you to listen to. Hopefully you enjoy this. See ya.